Here we are, State Wars Hockey Podcast number 56, coming to you straight from Rockville Center, New York. Tim McMahon is here with GT, Greg Thompson. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, Tim. Just still recovering from the weekend. Obviously, wasn't the longest weekend in the world, but, you know, it's still tiring being at the rink all week and playing, all weekend and playing. So, yeah, my body's just still a little sore. What's going on with you?
Yeah, same thing. Just, you know how it is. Kids get back in school. The weeks are so long, you know, something every day after school, different sports, different school stuff, and just trying to catch up. And this time of year, usually it's, you know, it's a downtime for us, but trying to get everything prepared for next year and everything, which isn't easy because, you know, you reach out to people and, you know, next year seems so long away and they don't want to think about, oh, that tryout date in April or that tournament in March or even that tournament in December, the Nasty Cup coming to Nashville. You know, here it is, not even Halloween yet. People just like to go week by week, it seems like, in the sports world.
Yeah, it makes sense. And, you know, it stinks. It gets dark so fast, so much earlier now. So then the day just feels kind of shot once it gets a little dark and your body just feels tired and you just don't really feel like doing anything. But
Right.
This is season, I guess, and yeah, kind of stinks. But yeah, let's talk about the Nasty Cup a little bit.
Yeah, so we got pretty much a sold out tournament already. The Nasty Cup being held December 10th to 12th in Hendersonville, Tennessee, about 25 minutes from Nashville at the brand new Veterans Park rinks being built. They're actually still being built right now. So fingers crossed that everything is done in time for the tournament. Definitely a stressful time worrying about the rinks getting all finished and everything with construction, but oh, God willing, everything will be done in time. But yeah, we got pretty much a sold out tournament. We have 12 senior AA teams registered to play, 16 senior A teams registered. I think 8 35 and over teams, 4 45 and over teams, 3 55 and over teams, and either 4 or 5 women's teams registered. So
Awesome.
we're pretty much packed out about 50 teams right now, which was our goal. We figured 50 teams was the most we could fit, and we're pretty much there already. So pretty much ready to close up shop for that tournament. But, you know, real excited to be going out there for the first time.
Well, not the first time, but seeing the rink for the first time.
Yeah, first time having a tournament out there, you know, excited for that. And I've been wanting to have a tournament in the Nashville area for a long time. And unfortunately, with the ice rink situation there, it just hasn't been possible to have State Wars there. So this is the next best thing, to have a good weekend adult tournament. I think it'll be really fun for the teams. And the goal is to make this an annual trip that guys and ladies look forward to every year to come out and play.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. It's been a while since we hit Nashville. It's been a couple of years, right? So I'm sure not a lot has changed there, you know, on the downtown front. But looking forward to seeing those rinks. I know the people in Nashville, they've been waiting patiently for years and years and years for you know, a roof over their heads. Because we've been there, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times where we've had tryouts on the outdoor rink and we've got rained out.
Yeah, I know at least twice that happened.
Yeah.
It must rain there a lot, or, you know, a decent amount, because even now with the construction, that's been part of the issue, is they've lost days with rain and stuff like that. So it's been a wet season. But, you know, for those who don't know, you never been to the rinks in Irvine, California, the rinks Irvine, where Narch finals has been held the last couple of years, and I believe this year as well. You know, really awesome setup in California, but same kind of thing. 2 outdoor rinks with a full roof covering them, and the roof will extend 25 feet out on all sides of the rink. So the rinks are fully covered, just the sides are open, which is pretty cool for the breeze to blow in. You know, don't worry about heat for this tournament. It'll be nice and cool. Guys can get some breathing and stuff in, not so stuffy like a lot of rinks can be. And, you know, we got 2 brand new steel mat floors coming in there that they purchased for the rinks. So it's going to be the same floors that everyone loved the State Wars on the rinks there. So it's going to be a really cool hockey atmosphere. And, you know, the plan is they're bringing in some food trucks and a beer garden being set up there, and I think some local entertainment. They're going to set up some music going on live at the rinks outside, which I know you're a big live music fan. So That's really awesome. Just typical Nashville fashion. So I think it's gonna be a really cool atmosphere for an adult tournament.
Yeah, so pumped about it. I know some teams that have registered already. They're already reaching out to me, like just so excited, asking about with some local watering pubs and all that good stuff. So I said, yeah, just hit Lower Broadway and just walk up and down the strip there. You'll enjoy yourself. And there's actually some other places that are off the main drag over there that are pretty good as well. So not that we're gonna go there, right, Tim? We're gonna be at the rink a lot.
Be stuck at the rink the whole time, you
Yeah.
know. But you know, it's gonna be fun. Like I said, it's gonna be an annual tournament. This will be the first one to kick it off. So looking forward to just getting Sorry about a little technical difficulties there. Got knocked off for a minute there with the internet. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. Hopefully, we're back on live here. Gotta find GT, get him back. Just bear with us here. Maybe some of you at home can make a comment here if you're still hearing and seeing what's going on here. Know that we're back live. Still trying to find GT. Okay, let us know, guys, if you're hearing us live right now. All right, good. All right, so you got me right now, waiting for GT to get in here. But yeah, so I'll continue here a little bit while we are waiting for Greg to get in here. You know, things are going good. National Cup registration pretty much sold out. If anyone's interested in playing that tournament, just reach out and we'll see if we can squeeze you in. But I might have to put you on a waiting list at this point, as we're pretty much filled up. And you know, we're going to talk a little bit about the Fall Invitational. We just finished up the Fall Invitational in Feasterville this past weekend. It was a pretty quick Saturday, Sunday. Again, another adults only tournament. Senior AA, Senior A, 35 and over divisions. A lot of fun. You know, same kind of thing. Didn't have to go super late because there was no kids division, so the guys liked it. They could get done early and still go out and enjoy the nightlife a little bit. which seems to be a great part of these adult tournaments, being able to play some hockey and also enjoy some time off the rink with the boys or the girls. And I think everyone had a good time out there at the Sportsplex. You know, a little frustrating at Sportsplex, that rink. At one time it was a 3-rink facility. Then they narrowed it down to 2. Then they went back to 3. Then it was 2. Now it's 2 again, but they've gotten rid of the upstairs, and it just seems like they're squishing it more and more and more. And I just see the writing on the wall that one day that'll be a 1-rink facility again, which will be frustrating. It was always such a great place for us. We started in 2008 hosting Winter Wars at that facility, and we've been going there since. So it kind of stinks to see how, new ownership took over. It's kind of a storage place now. So they've been shrinking down that building. So it kind of stinks for us. I just see the atmosphere changing there a little bit. So we spent a lot of time this time on what used to be the 3rd rink, which was a building we hardly even ever went into. And this time we had our table set up, and our home base was in that rink. So everyone saw us sitting downstairs at that rink this time, which was unusual for us. But still went off well. And I'm going to talk a minute here about those divisions and just talk a little bit of how they went. Still trying to find GT here. It's funny, he's upstairs here at the office, but I guess he's still trying to get on, and maybe he's having some Wi-Fi issues here. Let me try to reach out to him directly. Tell him maybe to change his Wi-Fi. Hold on a second here. All right. What's been going on with the internet lately here? I know we got a little update from our buddy Sean Boldick in Colorado, who last week we mentioned was struggling a lot. He had a really bad brain infection and some things going on. He was in bad shape in the hospital, and we've been following updates. We thank the Higneys for keeping us updated on Facebook with the rest of the hockey world about Sean, and it seems like he's doing better and better. I saw he was leaving the one hospital he was at today, being transported, I imagine, to a regular hospital. But it seems like he's doing a lot better. So a great shot of him with a hockey helmet on, leaving. But so big shout out to Sean. Prayers still with him and his family, and we're so excited to hear that he's doing better. Not a big shock. I know he's a fighter, and we're still thinking of him and praying for him, and ask those at home to do the same as he continues to improve and get better and better, and hopefully get him on his feet real soon back home. I hear GT walking into the office here now, so can't get on GT?
Wi-Fi's out. That's why yours is working.
Yeah, go to the Hockey One. It's working for me, so it's got to work for you. The worst case, go on your phone and go do it. Yeah, you got to switch to the Hockey One, I believe. That's what I switched to, and now we're on. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Fall Invitational here. So Senior AA division was a 4-team division, but all the teams were pretty stacked. Without pro, you always get a couple pro guys playing on these teams. And Bobby's boys from New York, the Rink Rat Empire, New Jersey, the Deuces from Pennsylvania, and the New Jersey Greyhounds were the 4 teams competing in that division. And when you see a division where no one lost or won every game, it's a good. I'm on Hockey One, Greg. I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see here. Hold on. Sorry, guys at home. Trying to help Greg get back on the internet here. He's on his Commodore 64 today. Hold on. Hey, Greg. Yes, like I said, no one lost or won every game. The Jersey Greyhounds were 0-2-1. But even looking at them, they were the 4th place team. And you look at their games here, and every game was a game. I mean, their first game here out, they tied 3-3 with the Deuces. Then they lost 5-2. Then they only lost 5-4. And when they wound up getting to the semifinals, meeting Bobby's boys, it was a 2-1 game. So that division overall was pretty tight. Looking at the scores, and Bobby's boys and the Rink Rat Empire both finished 2-1 in the round robin there. But then you got the Deuces, who were 1-1-1. You knew they were a pretty sneaky team. You're like, wow, this team is 1-1-1. With guys like Derek Schultz and Ryan Sobleski and Anthony Merrigan, and guys that have played in the pro division. So it's amazing that those guys were 1-1-1. And you're like, wow. And it's a home rink on top of it, so they're used to it because, being honest, that floor is not the greatest floor in the world at the Sportsplex. I think it might be, one of the original sport courts back from 1920. So, it's not the greatest floor, but they're used to it. So you feel that's a huge advantage. Usually takes most teams a game or two to get used to that floor if you haven't played there in a while. So they were 1-1-1, but you're like, all right, everyone's making the playoffs. You got to watch out for this team. And there's GT. He's back with us, back to the podcast.
Real world.
Going on, GT?
Sorry, I've never had internet issues on that server there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, especially being just you and I on it. But I was talking about the senior AA division, how the Deuces went 1-1-1, but they were pretty stacked with some really good players. And, they wound up getting to the playoffs. They knocked off Rink Rat Empire 3-1 in the semifinal. And then they met Bobby's boys from New York in the championship game and wound up winning 3-1.
Yeah, the last round robin game, I know the New Jersey team beat Deuces. And then they had to play again in the semi, and Rink Rat team, they knew it was going to be a hard one because they, obviously they just beat a good team in the last round robin game. So then to beat them twice, they knew it was going to be a tough one. It's hard to beat a good team twice, as always, especially in a row. But it was a tough one. But overall, the division was really good. I kind of heard you talking about the Greyhounds. They battled every game. Just really tight division. It was very competitive. And I know Bobby's boys even got mercied by the Deuces in the round robin, 8-0. So it was just a weird division how it all panned out. But ultimately at the end, it was Bobby's boys versus the Deuces, and it was a great championship game. Good matchup.
It's such a great thing to see where, if that was a youth division, people will be having a heart attack that, we lost 8-0. Now we got to play this team in the playoffs. We're going to get killed, blah, 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 blah. And it's such a lesson there that Bobby's boys lost 8-0 to this team in the round robin and then got their shit together. And they came back, won their semifinal, played these guys in the championship to a great championship game. And, just because you have a bad game doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad game every time. So good to see those guys turn around and big shout out to Bobby's boys for stepping it up and not throwing the towel when they got beat up in one game.
Yeah, and they knew they were better than that. I remember talking to them after the game. They're like, it's going to be a better game if we play them again. It was just one of those games where it was pretty close. We missed chances, and then at the end they just started kind of pressing, trying to score goals, and the Deuces, took advantage of odd man rushes and buried. So, but overall, it was a great division. What's impressive, I don't know if you know Chris Notley, Tim, but Chris from the Greyhounds, he ran the team. Really nice guy.
Yep.
Big dude. He's like probably 6'5" or so.
Yeah.
But he looks like the absolute worst goalie in the world. I don't know if you watched him play.
Yeah.
He's got a player's helmet on, so you look at it, you're like, this guy can't be any good. But he's actually really good.
Yeah.
He's an awesome goalie. And he stood pretty tall this weekend. But just funny looking at him, like, oh my God, this guy cannot be good at hockey. And he's really good.
Yeah, the high scorers in the AA was a three-way tie with Derek Schultz and Jim Mager from Deuces, and then Nick DeSalvo from New Jersey Greyhounds. All had 5 points, so leading the way there. And Schultz and Justin Favaloro both with 4 assists to lead the way. And Eddie Dada with the most goals in the division with 3 goals from Rink Rat Empire. So, and then you had a couple other guys with 3 goals, Ryan Sobleski, Sean Hart, Anthony Otto, Jordan Black with 3 goals. So, like you said, very well-rounded division there.
Yeah.
And good, clean hockey. Like I like in that division that guys are just there to play hard, play hockey, not too much BS. You may get a little bit BS in a senior A game or whatever, but the AA, guys are battling, and it's really good hockey to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
let's move on to the Senior A division, which is always usually our biggest division, no matter where we go. It's not as big as our 64-team State Wars Senior A division, but still 11 teams in the division. New England's nobodies, Rink Rat, Iron Knights, Rink Rat Empire, Kraken, Champion Impact, Lebeda New Boot Goofers, 2-10 Wheelers, Hat Trick Heroes, Black Biscuit, Conix Militia, Rink Rat Empire Brooklyn, and Wheel Talk Flamingos. So rounded out there. Only 2 teams, Rink Rat Empire Brooklyn and Wheel Talk Flamingos, did not win a game. And Wheel Talk Flamingos actually the only team not to get a point. So it was a pretty well-rounded division. At least 7 teams in that division had 2 wins, and 9 of the 11 teams had 3 points or more. So thought it was a pretty good division overall.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there's always some fun games to watch. You asked me what the boot goofers meant, and I had no idea. I actually found out. Remember that show, Reno 911?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a
I never watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, I watched it in like in early days, probably college days. I think it's still on, but it had something to do with that show. So,
okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting.
So looking here, so New England nobodies, Johnny Pinero's group, they were 4-0. They were the only undefeated team going into the round robin. And then, we get going in the playoffs here. So in that division, the top, I think, was it 6 teams, Greg, out of the 11 made the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So, there were some pretty good teams. And you look at here, I was pretty impressed with that 2-10 Wheelers team, watching them play a couple games. They finished 2-2, didn't make the playoffs. Goal differential. They had a what was their differential? +7. So there was some things there with that.
They ended up going head to head with the New Boot Goofers, and they both had the same amount of points, but
play each other.
Things got changed and they played together. Yeah, played against each other, and the Goofers won that one, so they made it in ahead of them.
Okay, yeah, they both had 4 points. So yeah, they would have got in because the differential was the head to head that screwed them there.
Yeah.
Guys forget in these tournaments, it happens all the time that Lieberman said here, Reno 911. Was a show, I guess it was. But yeah, guys forget about that goal scored. It happened to us in that alumni tournament, Skate Safe, one game. We gave a goal with like 20 seconds left. I'm like, that goal's going to come back to haunt us. When everyone doesn't make the playoffs, every goal matters. Yeah. And it could be a 4-game round robin. It could be one shift in your first game of the tournament, and you give up a dumb goal, whether it's a bad line change, a dumb penalty, a power play goal, whatever it is. And every goal is so precious in these tournaments when not everyone makes the playoffs. And even when everyone makes it, you're seeding. So it's so vital to worry about every single goal. And it's funny, I see the same thing with my daughters with soccer. Like, they don't even have playoffs half the time. So everything comes down to goal differential. So every goal matters, and you gotta blow out the teams you need to blow out, and you gotta worry about your own net. We changed the differential now, so now it's goals for is just the one after differential in the tiebreakers. Yep. So you go out and score some goals and be rewarded for it, but you got to worry about every single goal, Greg. And 2-10, you look at them, oh, wow, you go 2-2 in a tournament. You figure, all right, I'll make the playoffs here, and unfortunately, they were the one team out, and that one game we had all those issues with them playing Empire with those couple little scuffles and suspension and all the fun stuff. They looked pretty good to me that game. I was surprised they were the team not in the playoffs. Shows how good that division was.
Yeah, I think every team was surprised. They had a lot of youth to that team, a lot of skill, speed. They were pretty well rounded. I think, coming out of the gate, they lost to Champion Impact team. Pretty sure they were up, and then our boy Donny Lemanski got there in the second period and had a hat trick against them, and they ended up beating them. So that was a tough loss out of the gate. But again, it was a competitive division. Like you said before, almost every team, I think besides one, had points. So, it was pretty good. And then it's crazy that the Iron Knights, their last round robin game, they lost 1-0 going into the playoffs. They lost to the Kraken team. And ended up doing pretty well in the playoffs. So we can get into that as well.
Yeah, these Senior A divisions, Greg, they're the hardest divisions for me to schedule.
Exactly, yeah.
And, one thing, I take a lot of pride in, I know everyone out there and their mother wants to run a tournament. But the biggest part of it is really knowing your teams and doing your homework and trying to seed teams the best you can and scheduling. And, scheduling is not easy. I myself, that 350 team tournament last summer, I made the schedule myself. There's no robot here at State Wars doing the schedule for me. It's me. And then you do some proofing for me, but I do the schedule. And these senior A divisions, last year, 64 team division at State Wars, is not easy to do that seeding. And here as well, you don't really know the teams that well. You kind of know who a couple of the better ones might be, but overall you don't. So honestly, a lot of the scheduling comes down to, hey, let's make sure the 3 Long Island teams coming into play aren't all going to play each other every game, or those 3 PA teams don't play each other. That kind of stuff comes into it.
Yeah.
But looking at these results, I feel like the scheduling was pretty good and the seeding was pretty good. And at the end of the day, 6 out of 11 teams make it. You played 4 games. So you really get a true feel of who deserves to be in there. And I guess if you can't make that top 6 based on 6 teams making it after 4 games, then you're probably not going to win that tournament anyway. But I thought all these teams looked pretty competitive. And even that Wheel Talk Flamingos team, they went 0-4.
Yeah.
And coming into it, I'm like, all right, they got some pretty good players on that team. You look at that team, Mike Pernito and Kenny Ivero and, Rory Shepard and some of the names of guys I know, some pretty good guys on that team. So for them to be the 11th place team out of that, just again, shows you that Senior A, even though it's our lowest men's division, isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, totally. And going into the playoffs, I really had the nobodies winning that one because round robin, they did pretty well. They smoked everyone pretty good. And they actually beat the Gophers team in round robin and then lost to in the playoffs. So I wasn't able to catch that game, but they were pretty strong all along. And just goes to show you, every team's pretty good in that division. And come playoffs, anyone could win. So
let's take a look at those playoffs. So the first game, so how it works is 6 teams make it. The first and second team get a bye through the first round right to the semis.
Yep.
So the first game is a 3 versus 6 game, and LeBeta New Boot Gophers from New York with a 5-4 win over Rink Rat Empire. And again, you look at that. So Empire made the playoffs, Greg, but 2-10 Wheelers, who beat their asses pretty good the night before when all those issues we had, did make it. So you never know, right? So they won that game. Then the 4 versus 5 game, champion Impact New York lost 4-0 to Kraken from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Kraken, pretty good team as well. And then the semifinals, the number 1 seed, New England's Nobodies. So it's always the age-old story. You hear about this in the NFL all the time. Is it good to get the bye and get some rest? Or is it good to get that game and get your wheels going and stuff? No pun intended.
Exactly.
So, New England sitting around. Gophers came in after a big 5-4 win. Again, think about all the new things of this rink. You got this rink. I mentioned before you were on the podcast. It's not the greatest rink in the world as far as the floor is kind of old. The boards are kind of dead.
Yeah.
We unveiled the new puck this weekend, which had mixed reviews from guys that aren't used to it yet. But every game you play with it, you heard guys saying how they liked it more and more every game because they were getting used to it. So here it is, LeBeta Gophers. Now they get another game. They get rolling. They get used to the puck a little bit more, get used to the floor a little bit more. They get some more cohesion together. And they beat New England Nobodies with the number 1 undefeated seed, 8-3. And in the other game, Kraken lost to Rink Rat Iron Knights with the number 2 seed with the bye. So in that situation, the bye worked out.
Yeah.
And then we went to the championship, and Rink Rat Iron Knights with a 5-4 win over LeBeta New Boot Gophers. And I know you got to watch those final games. I know it's some overtimes and stuff. So speak a little bit of the level of play in the playoffs, sir. I wasn't there like you were.
Yeah, talking about that championship game for the Senior A division between the Iron Knights and the Gophers, that was a phenomenal game, back and forth action. Honestly, anyone could have won. Both teams had chances to score, and it went pretty late, pretty deep into overtime, and guys were tired, you could tell. But I thought Danielle Sparrow played amazing for Rink Rat Iron Knights. She was definitely up there for MVP candidate. She made some phenomenal saves. She had the whole building roaring at one point, making some killer saves. But we've seen that time and time again from her. It's difficult for a girl to play in a men's division, but she makes it look so easy.
Has she ever played for Team USA, Greg?
No, she hasn't. She's played for the Roadrunners a couple times, I think.
I mentioned her last year to Dave Marmonstein, the head coach of the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was an interest or, how things work, but, we talked a little bit last podcast and the one before about some of the great things women roller hockey have going on and how they're trying to do more and more. And like you said, it's great to see a female goalie in net, not just in general, but in a men's division, where she was probably the only female player in the entire tournament. And was she MVP of the championship game, Greg?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
She, I think the guy who got the MVP scored the winner.
Okay.
It was Sean Lloyd, and he's a phenomenal player too. So he had some points that game.
Yeah, but she played phenomenal. I watched one game, and it's like she's great. Great goalie, and like you said, it can't be easy. Not just from the competitive side, just being, let's face it. If I was the only guy in old girls tournament, it'd be hard to, it's different, whatever. But for her, she's been doing it so long. It's just like she's one of the guys with them, and I thought she played phenomenal. So shout out to Danielle. Yeah,
and you could tell that they, the team respects her, as a goalie and a person. I mean, they're roaring for her every time. They know she's the real deal. She can play, and she's won Pi-Ha, the Sting I know before. Being the starter. So, I mean, that's impressive. And she's, like I said, she's done it time and time again. So hats off to her. She was great.
No, great job there. And, it's always hard, Greg, with the senior A division, because you get a lot of younger guys that start playing in that first. So they were youth divisions or junior, and then they start playing men's.
Yeah.
And, these guys are not used to yet the physical play of the men's divisions. And let's face it, it's not always the most skilled guys. So you're going to get a little more banging in these divisions, a couple cheap shots here or there. There's a good shot of the Iron Knights there and Danielle obviously in the middle. But guys just have to realize, Greg, that they're playing in the men's division now. There's going to be some hitting. It's a non-checking tournament, but, my broken ribs that are just still finally healing will let you know that there's still some physicality in these games. So, you see a little bit of the crybaby stuff a little bit with guys crying to the refs and yelling and stuff and wanting calls every second. But it is men's hockey, and there's going to be some banging, and, the guys have to get used to it, unfortunately, especially on the smaller rink like that. And speaking of the refs, I want to give a big shout out to all of our refs for the weekend, because, they truly have such a tough job, Greg, at these tournaments, because there's like no appreciation sometimes from the players for the refs.
Zero.
And, you and I have always been, I don't care if we're at an arch tournament, a tour, so we've always been kind of guys that are pretty respectful of the refs. As a coach, me, I don't yell a lot. As a player, I don't really yell a lot. You don't yell a lot as a player. And we both know enough to know that it's not going to get you anywhere screaming, yelling at the refs all the time. But you get some of these guys, and we had to berate some friends of ours during this weekend about it, where they just don't stop. They cry about everything. They cry if they get called on them, and then they cry if they don't call it on the other team. Like, you can't win. Like, do you want them to call everything? Do you not want them to call everything? And, these referees are doing the best they can. And just like the players aren't perfect out on the floor by any means, we make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I missed an empty net in a 35 and over game that was 5 feet in front of me. So if we're not perfect as players, to expect perfection from these refs that are out there making minimal dollars. I mean, unfortunately, we can't pay these guys tons of money. They're making average money for their time. And these guys just do the best they can. And without them, we couldn't have games, right?
Yep.
But unfortunately, we live in that world. Everyone are, they critique the police officers, the fire department, the this, the that, the teachers, everything. Everyone gets criticized. But these referees do such a good job, and I give them a lot of credit. And I ref for many, many years. People don't know this back in the day. I ref for a long time. I mean, it was a job of mine for years. And I would ref men's leagues everywhere, starting at 16 years old. So I get it, and it just cracks me up how some guys just still don't get it, Greg. They want to yell and argue and complain. And, we were playing a game one time. I get tripped. And then the other team's yelling, "Oh, did you call that because Tim guys playing?" It's like, really, guys? Like, you just can't win with guys. It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating. And there's such a shortage in referees all across the country in every sport. And there's a reason why. I mean, people do not respect the referees. I getting screamed at every game. I mean, who'd want to ref?
Yeah.
Rarely you see guys go up to a ref and just say, "Hey, ref, great job. Sorry, But it kind of pisses me off for sure. Just seeing the way these guys act. And you know what? Next tournament, we say it all the time. You know what? Why don't you try refing?
Oh yeah.
Guys are a bunch of animals out there sometimes, and guys have to deal with the refs and their decisions, and it's just very frustrating to me.
It's like a 12-step program. If you have a drinking problem, if you have a ref problem, we're gonna have you ref. You'll start out doing a kids game, and then we'll get you in that midnight men's A game where two teams want to kill each other out there, and they have had a bunch of beers in them. And you can deal with those animals, and then we'll see how you do. And maybe it's, again, like being a police officer. If you had to ride around in the back of a squad car all night in downtown New York or Detroit or Chicago or St. Louis, I'm sure you probably have a better appreciation for the job police officers have to deal with every night. So I would think having to get on the rink and ref for a game, you might come out of that going, you know what? Never going to yell at a ref again because I didn't realize how hard that is. And it could be the 8-0 game. It gets pretty difficult sometimes.
Yeah. You got to deal with the parents then. That's a tough one.
But yeah, I try not to. And you know me, I don't allow our players to yell at the refs. When I'm coaching kids, I don't allow them to speak to the refs. I tell our parents, don't blame the refs. It's funny. When people win a game, Greg, they want to take all the credit, right? I won. I'm the best. I'm so good. My kid's so good. I'm so good. I won. But when they lose, a lot of people, it's always got to be someone else's fault. Our goalie stunk. That puck stunk. The rink sucks. The referees were terrible. The lighting was bad. It was hot in that rink. It's never, you know what? I didn't play good. It's always someone else. And that's just a character part. Yeah. So to me, I'm always like, shut the hell up. If you want to take the accolades when you win, take the blame when you lose. Don't try to blame someone else. Actually, my men's league game last night, I had a game at Skate Safe. And this is the first time I've ever seen, and I've been playing for 100 years, the first time I've ever seen this call made. And I wouldn't have called it, and I don't even know if it was the right call, but I give the referee credit. I even yelled out to him, hey, but that was some big balls for that call. So we went to a shootout, and Steve Sharkey, who played this tournament with the Empire, scored on the shootout, and it was an ice goal. And the referee disallowed it and said he went backwards on the shootout and stopped forward progress or whatever and put it in, which was, it's funny that it was called. And I loved it because it was against the other team. But I'm just sitting there going, I can't believe that got called that. I want to buy the guy a beer after the game just for the balls from that. But it was a new thing every day, right?
Yeah, you must have been paying the refs, Tim.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a ballsy call, especially in rec league. It's just one of those. Game was probably 11 o'clock at night. But hey, give the guy credit. He made the call. I guess he really did think that he was, stopped his forward progress. So very interesting.
Scotty Sloan just jumped in, and he was one of the refs last night in the game, and he wasn't the one that made the call. He was the other one. But his name came up after we were having a few beers in the parking lot. And someone on the team was complaining about a call Scotty had made earlier. It was only 2 calls made the whole game, one on each team. And Scotty made a call, but the argument from our team was that he called it from down the rink, and there was another ref right there. And my argument to the guys after the game was, but if it was the right call, who cares? Like, it was probably a call, so who cares? But their argument was, well, the other guy didn't call it. I'm like, well, what does that mean? He didn't call it. So maybe he missed a call. As long as the right call's made, instant replay means both guys didn't call it right and they change it, right? So, they made the right call, and then that call and, the shootout or whatever. But I told the guys after the game, I said, one thing I love about Scotty Sloan is at least I know with him, and he's reffed a lot of my ice games, roller games, I know he takes pride in what he does. And you can make an argument all day long if a guy made a right call or a bad call, and I'm okay with it. Like, guys, again, I missed an empty net this week, and that was right in front of me. I should have scored my eyes closed. But I'm old. I suck, whatever. Like, so, for a referee to miss a call, make a bad call, a questionable call, guys, you don't have to agree with it, because most times when you don't agree with it, it's against you, right? So, of course, you're not going to agree with it. So just shut up and know the referee doesn't care. They're just making their calls the best they can. And I appreciate a guy like Scotty last night, who at least I know cares about the game. He's communicating with the players. I know he'll respect me. Not that I'm really the captain of that team, but I usually am the captain, and he'll talk to me. I'll talk to him. And there's a respect. And that's all you really want. And you just want consistency, Greg, right? I don't care if it's consistently bad on both ends, whatever you think. As long as it's consistent, who cares? And if the right call is made, just shut the heck up and play hockey. Like, you're not going to change the call. And it's amazing that guys still at 40 years old are still trying to get referees to change a call by arguing.
It's funny you bring up the referees, because I was actually at Rapid Fire the other night talking with Jay Muro and talking about deck hockey. Deck hockey came up, and a friend of ours, Jay Meacham, he's a big deck guy, referee. So I guess he was refereeing over the weekend at a huge deck tournament. I think it was in Boston or somewhere. And I guess he came home saying that the guys love when he refs. And I asked Jay, I'm like, do guys really like when he refs? Like guys, Jay Meacham.
Oh.
Jay Meacham came home saying the guys really like when I ref. So Jay's like, so I asked Jay, I'm like, guys really like what does he do that, makes the guys like him? He goes, Greg, all he does is talk all game.
Yeah, he communicates.
Communicates with the guys, follows up, talks to them in the corners. Guys, let up.
Yeah.
Little things like that, and goes a long way. You can tell he's involved in the game, cares. So you can't really, argue it. If a ref's kind of in la la land, I get it. But if a guy is really into the game, talking to the guys throughout the whole course of the game, can't really complain. He's got a good eye for the game, and he's there. He's talking to guys and telling them what to do and not to do. So you got to respect.
If you took Kelly Sutherland from the NHL, right, who back in the day worked at Narch a couple times when we were there.
Yeah.
You took Kelly Sutherland in the NHL, who's one of the best refs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you put him in quads and Joe for helmet and an inline hockey ref jersey and brought him down to the rink one night, and no one knew him. Guys would be ripping the guy apart.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Just because they don't know him, whatever. And even be called the greatest game. And that's what we used to love about the Palmer Pro is we would bring in referees all the time that were high-end guys that the players didn't know. And they were used to the same guys from Norwich or Tours or even early State Wars where they were buddies with the guys.
Yeah.
And that's it. Scotty mentioned it on the comment back. It's hard when you're reffing guys you're friends with and they're giving you a hard time, So it's not easy. Scott Lieberman, Scotty Beans, he works at a Rapid Fire. And, again, at Rapid Fire, I used to run the place. It's like same thing. Everyone's buddy with everyone. And you bring up Jay Meacham, who's a good buddy of mine. The guy was my wedding party, but he's also a guy, he'd be reffing a game. He'd see the Giants about to score on the TV outside in the middle of the game because he'd always be on foot. He didn't wear skates. He'd run off the rink in the middle of the game to go watch the game while the game's still going on and he's reffing. So, and he got away with that. So, it's when I used to ref, that's one of the things I would say I was very good at. I would communicate well, but it was exhausting. Like I'd be the guy doing the high school league and I'd have to go by the bench and I'd have to start talking to players, calm down, tell number 10, relax. Like, hey buddy, I might have missed it. I'll keep an eye on it. Just calm down. Like an old game, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And it's hard at a rink like Skate Safe. You're getting paid, $15 a game to go do it and deal with idiots that show no respect. And you put in the bare minimum. I watched the game last night at Skate Safe. I was getting ready to play on my game. On the other rink, the referee during the game had his phone out and he was by the scorekeeper box reading a text or something on his phone while the play was going on. And then he put his phone back in during the game. So, it's hard when guys don't get paid a lot. And at these rinks, they're not trained as refs either. They'll just throw anybody out there that wants a ref. Hey, I used to work at Foot Locker. I got a ref jersey. Can I ref? Yeah, you can ref tonight. That's kind of how it goes. There's no official training. So it's a little frustrating for guys to deal with it. The biggest thing I would say to refs, and our guys are guilty of it. I've seen Lieberman do this. I've seen Scotty do this. So Jeff Koch do this a little bit. They go back at the players a little bit sometimes, and then it just eggs it on. I would just not even reply to them. You want to throw them out, but I wouldn't engage them. I would just say what I said, move on, skate away, drop the puck, and that'll end it more times than not going back with them and having a conversation or argument. Find that guy, find the guy who runs a team and deal with him one-on-one and say, hey, Greg Thompson, If this Tim McManus idiot doesn't stop, I'm throwing him out of the game, and I'm going to bang your team with penalties. And then you'll deal with your guy. You got to find that guy that everyone respects on the team, deal with them, because you're not gonna change the mind of that idiot that gets penalties all game. You got to find the guy, right?
Yeah, I agree there. There's always that one guy on your team too. A guy you got to calm down and just let him know, hey, listen, shut the hell up. You're gonna get a penalty. You're gonna hurt our team. Take a seat. Just sit down and relax for a little while.
See, Andrew Otto brought up a good point here. He says, refereeing is difficult. He said, but when a referee misses a goal or non-goal or sticks in the face, you can't say it's not frustrating for a player either. Listen, I agree. And again, I will say that I've probably played and or coached more roller hockey games than 99% of everyone still playing in the sport. Okay. And what are the guys supposed to do? If they're in position, if I'm in position, I'm on the goal line, and the puck gets, Brandon Hawkins takes a rocket of a shot, and it goes in and out, deflected, and I call it a goal, I got to go by what I see. It happens like that, and a high stick, guy gets, sticks come up. The other night in the Ranger game, I watched it. The guy got called for a high stick. They watched the replay, and Jacob Trouba hit his own guy in the head with the stick.
Yeah.
And they called it on the other team. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
The Ranger game the other night?
Yeah.
Now, if there's not instant replay on every play like every major sport has now, what is a human, supposed to do? As long as he's in position, listen, if a guy's eating a hot dog on his phone, watching the Giant game, and the call's missed, then I'm going crazy. But if the guy's in position and he's trying his best, right, and he makes the call he sees, it's never going to be perfect. Right? NHL guys who make hundreds of thousands of dollars make mistakes. That's why they go to replay. NFL referees who get paid tons of money and are the best in the world make mistakes, and they go to replay to correct them. How can I expect the guy that's getting paid whatever, it could be $100 an hour at State Wars or at the Fall Invitational or at Skate Safe or wherever, to be 100% accurate on a call if he's just a human there and there's no instant replay to back him up, right? And the game is so fast. Right? So I look at it like this. This is where I'll disagree with Otto. Yeah, there may be a missed call here or there, but then there's a missed call here or there in your favor the other way. It evens out. Just like the parent that comes up and says, oh, you missed my son's assist. Okay, we missed his assist. He probably got one he didn't get. You shouldn't have gotten early in the tournament. You didn't come up and ask me to change that too, right? It can't always be let's correct everything in our favor, because if there's mistakes being made, there's mistakes being made all the time, right? All the time. Or else we slow the game down, have a fucking instant replay for every single thing. And you know what? I'm not a fan of instant replay. NHL, NFL, I still would rather human error be a part of the game. Major League Baseball, you make mistakes. I hate that every goal we got to go back. Hey, 12 minutes ago, I think that guy was offsides. Let's see if his toe came up, and we got to take the goal away. I hate that. Yeah. And I hate that we're doing it, because what does it come down to? Eventually, Major League Baseball is going to be a robot behind the home plate or a machine, and that's it. Like, I like the human error part of the game, because human error is part of playing too. And again, it evens out. Maybe it didn't even out every single time. So the Empire, we'll get into the game, but Empire put you guys in the 35 championship. Yeah. Questionable goal in overtime. The referee calls it a goal. Everyone watching the game behind the ring said it was a goal. But of course, the team that it scored on doesn't think it's a goal. That's fine. But if it went in the other way, they would think it's a goal, right? So it comes down to, you got to judge, you got to go by the judge and jury. These guys are unbiased. They're doing their best job. We all don't agree with them all the time. Like I said, I've told it 100 times. I got my ribs broken at State Wars. Guy didn't get a major penalty thrown out of the game, So I get it. Like, it's frustrating at times. I've been on the short end of the stick many times, and I've been on the positive side of the stick many times. But if you play long enough, it's going to even out. Yeah, and you just got to trust the process of it. Because at the end of the day, I remember one time, I'm going to sidebar this real quick. We were in Arizona one time, not Arizona, Arizona at Winter Nationals in March. And I was coaching the 88 sniper team. Pagano, Damasio, a bunch of lunatics back then, right? Dads were all nuts, and we got our asses kicked by AKS in the round robin. We go to the locker room, and immediately all the kids are blaming the refs. So I think me and Derek were coaching the team. And we shut it down immediately. Like, guys, you guys just suck. Stop blaming the refs. And they're saying they cheat. They're California refs. They want the California teams to win, blah, 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 blah. So I asked the kids, someone raise your hand if you've ever reffed a hockey game before. Every one of them raised their hand. Ref locally, whatever. I said, when you ref your games, did you care who won? Absolutely not. When you ref your games, did you cheat for one team over the other? No way. I would never do that. Okay. So why do you think guys that are much more professional level than you are doing that when you wouldn't even do that? No one's doing that. No one's purposely wanting someone to win and ref a hockey game. Yeah, if I'm reffing a game and this guy's being a prick to me all game long, if there's a chance to bang him and it's a 50-50 call, yeah, I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt. Of course, that's going to happen. That's human nature. But no one goes into a game going, hey, I hope the Empire win this game. No, I want Kraken to win this game. I'm going to make sure Kraken wins this game. No one's doing that. No one in the NFL is going, I want Tom Brady to win. I want the Rangers to lose. No one's doing that, So you play the game. It's human nature, human error on all sides, goalies, players, referees, the scorekeepers mess up. Hey, the guy in the snack bar might have burnt your hot dog too much, right? People make mistakes, but nothing is intentional, and you play through it. And that's the part of sports. You play through it, and sometimes it benefits, sometimes it doesn't. Shut your mouth, just play the game. And if you don't like it, start reffing or don't play. That's it. Rant over.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Couldn't pay me enough to ref. I mean, those guys deal with a lot of crap out there, and game in, game out, it's tough. It really is tough, and feel bad for the guys sometimes. I'll leave it at that.
I actually used to enjoy reffing, and I've thought about saying at skates, hey, I'll volunteer some time and go ref one night a week there. But it's just hard to get out of the house, and you know how it would turn into, State Wars must be struggling if Tim's reffing these days, But I actually always enjoyed it. But I just think that what you need is more guys that do ref to take more pride in it. So I do think there are a lot of guys that don't take enough pride in it.
Yeah.
So that's a problem for me. I think I told you this already, but I was coaching a middle school ice hockey game the other day.
Yeah, I heard that one.
And a couple young guys were reffing. And this is school BS hockey, nothing's fancy. And before the game, my assistant coach is a ref, an ice ref. And he had watched the game before and said they were calling automatic offsides, which I guess I think USA Hockey's gone to that now, where they're calling the automatic offsides, which I think is a terrible rule. No touch up. But we had played 2 games prior in the league already, and we hadn't played that. So we asked the ref before the game, are you doing automatic offsides? He says, yes. I said, oh, we didn't do that the first 2 games. Well, I'm doing that. I said, okay, fine. Then meanwhile, I'm teaching kids that a lot of them are beginners, and now I got to change rules on them. Like, guy, why are we changing this now, right? But he had attitude right off the bat. Fine. Game ends in a tie. The rule in the league is if there's a tie, we go right to a 3-player shootout. We had one the first game of the season. It was in the rules they sent all the coaches. Game ends in a tie, 3-3. The referee blows his whistle, says line up for a handshake. I said, oh, pump the brakes. It's supposed to go to shootout. No shootout. Ref, we had one already this season. It's a 3. No, it's not. No one told me that. I said, ref, I'm telling you as a coach, you can speak to the other coach who's yelling the same thing. We had one already this year. It'll take 5 minutes. Do the 3-player shootout for the kids. It's supposed to be that. Nope. No one told me that. There's no shootout. So the game ends. He sends the kids off. And I grab the kid. And he doesn't know me from Adams. He doesn't respect me. And I just said to him, ref, I wouldn't make that up. I'm letting you know what the league rules are. You obviously are mistaken. Would it really have been a big deal to run the shootout? And if I'm wrong, then whatever the results of the shootout were, you cancel them and go back to a tie. But at least you had the opportunity to have the shootout because maybe you are wrong and do it for the kids. But he was a prick. He was like, nope, no game. And that kind of attitude I can't stand. So for me, that guy's a douche. And I have no problem ripping on him as a ref. So I think more guys need to take more pride in what they do. And when I say pride, not only when they come to the game, like when I go to my games to play now, because I'm old, I stretch now. I ride my bike a little before I go. I know what I want to eat. Like I'm ready to go play. I take my stick, whatever, right? You have your routine. Referees should have their routine too. Like I want to get there on time. I want to be ready to go. My mind clean. I'm going to give these guys my best game. And I know it's difficult in roller hockey, but when that game's over, I got to push the reset button and then start fresh with a new group of guys. Because just because Tim McManus was a prick last game doesn't mean I should bang Greg Thompson the next game. And that's not easy, right? So, but they got to take more pride in that part of it. And then also study the rule book. Maybe watch some tape, like learn how to be a better ref, ask questions, right? Not just think you know everything. So if you're putting that time in, I got no problem with you. Everyone's going to make bad calls, you know? And who's to say what's a bad call? I think it's a bad call. The other team thinks it's a good call. As long as you don't have an attitude for no reason and act like a dick and care about the game and the players, I don't care what your calls are, you know? Exactly. Be consistent and let's just play the game, right? Who am I to judge, right?
Yep. I think we've had enough about the refs.
Okay.
Let's move on.
You're in charge.
Yep. I think we've had enough about the refs.
You're the boss. All right. I know we had Beans on there. We had Scotty Sloman, Dave Sapienza. We had a lot of referees on there. Andrew Otto, I'd like to see the entire Empire organization ref some games for us. I'm going to get some of our Sniper Pro guys. Greg, you got to turn your volume down. I'm going to get some of our.
No. Shoot.
I think that's you, Greg. My volume's down on mine. You get it down?
Yeah, it's down.
All right. But yeah, even our Sniper Pro team, there's a few guys on there I like to get reffing some games. You know, I can name some guys that definitely ref some hockey games for sure for us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? So let's move on here to that 35 and over division at the Fall Invitational. So we had a pretty cool, unique setup here. We had a lot of different 35 and over teams, different skill levels. We had some 45 and over teams wanting to play. And I like the way we did it. We took the three best teams, put them in their own bracket. We called it AAA 35 and over. That was the Rink Rat Empire team, the Tour Assault, and the Empire Snipers team played in the one division there. And then the other four teams, the Beast, the Empire team, their Jersey, New Jersey Empire team, and the 45 and over Scorchers and the 45 and over Health and Fitness group. They played together in that division. We called it 35 AA. Or was it Tour Assault Health? I called the names wrong, I think, but it's the same group of guys for the most part. So Tour Assault was in the lower and the Health and Fitness were in the higher one.
Yeah.
So in the AAA division, basically how that worked was everyone just played each other once, and then all three made the playoffs. One got a bye to the final. Snipers went 1-0-1. Health Fitness went 1-1, and Empire went 0-1-1. So everyone got a point in that division, which was pretty cool. Just showed again the consistency in that division. Everyone was pretty good. I know someone mentioned earlier on the comments, was it true that Jay Mazer was around? So he was with the 35 AA division. We'll get to him in a second. But everyone went there, and then Health and Fitness played Rink Rat Empire in the playoff game. So they had, of course, played each other in the round robin. And in the round robin game, Health and Fitness had beat them pretty good the first game of the tournament, 6-3. And then in the championship, Rink Rat Empire turned the tables on them with a 6-2 win by the Empire. Empire got a really good 35 and over team. When they keep their heads and they just play the game, they can be really dangerous, I think.
Yeah, they were missing Gary Cole the first game too, so that hurt them. But yeah, I mean, I think they're the deepest team on paper. I think everyone on their team is just very good, and they all play the game the right way, and they have some solid goaltending as well with Nano and Net. But look what happens when Otto leaves on Sunday. You know, they win their playoff game.
Yeah, they were 0-1 with Otto on the bench. But they were 0-1. They were 0-1 with Otto on the bench, that team or whatever, against that team, and then they won without him. So I don't know. Could be coincidence.
No, but honestly, just such a good division. The Health and Fitness team, you know, they just play so well together. You know, a lot of those guys have been playing together for a long time. You know, they have stud player Jim McGrath on the team as well. I want to give Vinny Comito some credit as well. For an older guy, how old is Vinny now? 50?
No, he's my age, 48.
Is he? Okay, 40.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vin. But still flying out there. Still move.
He likes that little spin move. He loves to stop and spin.
Yeah.
He got me one time. I had to whack him in the ankle with it. He likes that stop and spin move. No, he's a good player. Loves it, in good shape, obviously. At that age, always helps being in better shape.
Yeah.
I'm still battling to get my endurance back from taking all those months off from my ribs. Still not back yet. It's been frustrating, but Vinny's in good shape.
Yeah.
Jimmy McGrath obviously is a beast, with that team. And with the Empire, again, they just need like leadership on that team. Someone they're all going to respect and just take charge and tell everyone to just shut the hell up. Like, I think Carmelo's trying to be that guy with them, which would be great if he could do that because they got so much talent on that team. But you know how it goes. We've had it with our sniper guys, start losing, everyone's just yelling at each other and everyone's blaming each other and it snowballs, right? But that Empire team, and it's funny, we talked all this time about referees, they are a team that how the game is being called can benefit or not benefit them because they are probably the most physical team. They like to play that.
On the edge.
They like to play on the edge.
Yeah.
So if you have a referee that's going to let it all go, it's going to benefit them. But if you have a referee that's going to be a little tighter on the game and call that stuff both ways, then it kind of could hurt them a little bit, But they have the skill too. Like I made a joke to them about, Pudge, David Cole. I don't think he scored a goal in 5 years as a sniper as a kid, and I feel like he scores a hat trick every time we play against a guy. He's
holding him back.
Got a lot of talent.
You're holding him back on the D side.
That's what I told his brother and Carmelo the other night. I said, I think I was holding this kid back for all those years, making him play defense because he's got a scoring touchdown, Pudge.
Yeah, he's always scoring goals. Pudgy plays with a lot of grit. Wears his heart on his sleeve, works his tail off. We were jabbing back and forth for a little while. Those guys play like it's the Stanley Cup every game, and I think it's awesome. Me personally, I just can't do that, especially like in round robin and stuff. When I know every team's going to make the playoffs, I'm just, enjoying myself, want to have a good time, good skate, but, they go all out, and I think it's great. They wish I had the energy to do it.
Yeah, they should be called instead of rink rat, the Red Bull Empire, because I think they must drink about 12 Red Bulls before the game because guys like Gary, they come out screaming and yelling and flying. And I say all the time, I wish I had my 8-year-old's energy. I wish I had their energy. They come ready to go. But a great group of guys. And I missed the championship game. So we tried to give them a little help by sitting the big dog out that game. I had to go home for some lacrosse, but 4-3 win by the Snipers, overtime win. Donny Lemanski with the game winner from GT. But, Rink Rat in that game, they were up 2-0. Empire made it 2-1. GT, they went up again 3-1, which is a big goal right there. Make it 3-1, halfway through the second half. And Empire's blown some leads to the Snipers over the years for sure. I mean, that's a game. You're up 3-1 that position. Probably should hold on there. But Tyler Myers with a big goal made it 3-2. Then Lemanski tied it, and Lemanski won it. And, the only penalty in that game, surprisingly, was against Snipers. Jeff Whitley got a penalty in that game.
I told Whitley.
Always a high stick or a slash if it's Whitley.
Yeah, I told him actually during the game, I'm like, you realize you get a penalty like every game for a high stick or a slash?
Yeah.
It's like reckless with the stick.
Right.
I got to play him tonight. I can't wait to get whacked.
Donny Lemanski is something else, though. He's just an energizer bunny. He's so streaky. It happened with us the game against the health and fitness game. It was a close game, and I was about to change with him. We had 2 lines, and I said, Johnny, just stay out a little longer. I left him out. He scored 2 goals in like 30 seconds, and he scored 2 more the next shift. Like, he just gets rolling on a streak. Such a streaky player.
Yeah, he's got one speed, too. He just goes.
Oh, yeah.
I tell everyone, we just wind him up before the game, and he just goes.
He's like that doll. He's one of those toys, just spins around until he passes out when it's over, right? So,
and for him, he plays senior A, too, takes a beating out there, goes all out, and I mean, that guy, he's a workhorse and huge goal scorer.
A great competition in that division. And then we had our AA, like I said, Taurus Salt, Jersey, Scorchers, Pennsylvania, Rink Rat, Empire, New Jersey, and the Beast, PA. So it was great seeing the Beast Boys. There's a good picture of the Snipers. Tommy Porter, it's embarrassing to me having a different jersey on in that picture. Tell a story on the jerseys, Greg. Why Tommy Porter didn't have the right jersey on?
Yeah, we brought two sets of jerseys for the guys who didn't have jerseys, and geez, so Tyler Myers got his jersey. He gave extra jerseys to Porter. Jimmy Cush's sitting there. Yo, bro, I forgot my jerseys. I'm like, oh my god. So with the sizing and stuff, I gave my jersey to Q because it was an XL. I took the ones I was supposed to give Tommy Porter, which is a whole mess. And Jimmy Q sleeps in his sniper uniform, and he forgot him for the weekend.
I bet his girlfriend wore the jersey to school that day. I think that's why he didn't have it. There had to be a reason, because how does he forget his jersey of all guys? So, and obviously the big muscular guy, so now you can't just wear anybody's jersey. So it's it was just pretty funny that he forgot of all people. So they had Tommy Porter had to wear his jersey inside out, which I know we hate that, especially when you see it in the picture. It was great seeing the Beast Boys, Greg. I know you don't know those guys as well as I do. Chris Ryan and John White and all the guys, we got their team back together. They haven't played in ages, some of them. And they came back out to get going in it. They missed the game so much. And, they went 0-3, which is fine. It's going to be expected, but they had close games. I mean, they lost to the Scorchers 4-2. They lost to Rink Red Empire 3-2. Assault beat them up pretty good, but then we did a split, make everybody happy. We had early trophies already, so we had extra trophies. So we split to a AA and A championship. So they went into the A championship and played Rink Red Empire again with our former sniper buddy, Mike Sanfrani, who's also, working on his comeback. And they lost 5-3 to the Empire in the A championship there. And looking at that game there, Empire jumped out first, 1-0. Tom Connor with a goal. Beast tied it up. Mario Gambesia tied it. Then Rink Red Empire with 3 straight. Connor again, Franny, and Ed Welma. Beast came back in. Frank Rosner scored 1. Empire again jumped in. Ed Welma again. And then the Beast finished off the score. And Mario scored again with Rhino with the assist. But a lot of shots in the game between both teams. 40 shots on goal. I thought the goaltenders both did a pretty good job considering that. Brian Zawissa, going to give him a big shout out from the Beast. We issued the one night, Greg, with the glass and the boards breaking. The Carmelo flew into the boards and the piece broke off. And thank God we had MacGyver there. He fixed the boards after that. We just had to feed him a couple beers, and he got that board fixed. So he was the MVP, in my opinion, that day. And then Tommy Molinaro was the goalie for the Empire Jersey boys. But great game there with that.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. I was going back and forth from rink to rink watching the games because they both were tied at one point with like 5 minutes left or so, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty late in the game. So I was running back and forth from the Scorchers game to the other game because they ended around the same time. We had to do some switcheroos for the rinks because of goalies and stuff like that. So, but yeah, 2 great games. We'll get into the Assault game as well. The Assault versus the Scorchers, and yeah, those guys have been playing against each other for the longest time now, Tim. I think it's dating back to like BC times.
Absolutely.
But it was great to see Jay Mazer playing again with the Scorchers, his old boys from the Philly area. He could still wheel out there. Still got it, that little guy.
Absolutely.
Buzzing
We've
around.
seen an adult player on 2 80-millimeter wheels on each skate, With the championship game wound up being the 2 45-plus teams, Scorchers and Tor Assault. They had tied 3-3 the first game of the tournament when they played each other. I think that game, Assault was winning 3-0, and Scorchers came back in the second half, tied it up. So here we go in the championship game. And, the Assault got them pretty good in that game, 5-2. A little back and forth. Our boy Mazer had a couple on that one, but, Vinny Comito had a couple as well. And the Assault wound up holding up to win that game 5-2. And a shout out, I always like to bring up the goaltenders. So Pat Cole played net there. And, I don't know if Damon Walto played all in that game for them. I don't know if they switched. I think Pat Cole just played the whole game. Yeah. And then Chris Isaac played goal for the Assault. So big shout out to both those guys for a great job.
Yeah, MVP was actually Justin Favaloro too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He must have paid somebody off.
Must have paid the refs.
Let's talk about high scorers here in the division. So in the 35 AA division, high scorer here, Justin Favaloro, 9 points, 6 goals, 3 assists. with 9 points there, led the tournament with 6 goals. There's a good shot of the boys. I guess Mike Taddeo didn't play this weekend with those guys, huh, Greg?
Yeah, no, yeah. That's a big loss for them too. And
Didn't hear him yelling.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he still got it too.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't there this weekend.
Billy Gay with 4 assists to lead the tournament in assists, number 94 on tour assault. And then in the 35 AAA division, high scorers here, Donny Lemanski with 6 points, other tournament with 4 goals, and Jimmy McGrath and Justin Favaloro both had 3 assists in that one. So great job by both those guys. And I don't think we mentioned the senior A division. In that one, the high scorer was Johnny Pinheiro with 12 points, not a big shock there. Led the tournament with, Johnny Lemanski led the tournament with 9 goals in that division, 10 points. Pinheiro had the 7 goals, 5 assists for 12, but Lemanski with 9 goals lead the tournament in goals. And Carmelo Stracuzzi, no one usually more as a goal scorer, had 8 assists. Pretty impressive from Carmelo. 8 assists, 10 points in 4 games in the round robin for senior A division. So great job by all those guys.
You know what's most impressive about those stats right there, Tim? The top 3 guys are all 35 plus.
Yeah, you're right. Pinheiro, Stracuzzi, and Lemanski.
Yeah, all guys that play 35 and over. Young Bucks got to take some notes.
Yeah. Kevin Keane had 10 points, but he also followed up with 13 penalty minutes to lead the division. Oh, actually, no. Reggie Hunter on Kraken with 16. He had that 10-minute, I think, in the one game when Jeff Kotcher tossed him from the game for yelling at the refs. So, definitely a fun-filled weekend. And it's great to see the guys still play with a lot of passion in all these divisions, Greg, and they really want to win.
Yeah, I know. I mean, up and down the divisions, right? Senior A to even, the 35/45 plus. Those guys still working hard and the passion's there. I mean, even those late games. It's awesome to see the older guys still playing, like we always say, and can still play, man. Those Scorcher guys and the Assault guys, they battle it out, and good to see, Chris Ryan back and all those guys. Awesome hockey, and just enjoy seeing everyone for the weekend. Just a fun one.
Got to give a shout out to Rich Polidoro and the Scorcher guys. Those guys play. They make a little spot for themselves. They pitch a tent basically in the corner of the rink. They got their cooler out. Their Miller Lights come out. And those guys, they could drink all day between the games. They love it. They hang out all day, drink their beers, go out and play their games, come back, have another beer or two. They must have knocked off 40 beers in an hour, those guys. It's unbelievable. They're like professionals. Yeah.
Well, I saw Dave Jerry, Saturday when I'm setting up, and they're already cracking one open, and same Sunday, bright and early, cracking one open. I'm like, Dave, how many beers do you think you've had this weekend?
Right.
At least 40.
Right.
Pretty impressive.
It's amazing, with those pucks and stuff, like I said, some guys like them, some guys don't. The biggest thing you have to remember with the puck is it's different. The weight's slightly different about it. So it's like everything else. If you're used to using the same thing for 10, 15, 20 years, and suddenly something's changed a little bit, it's going to feel a little different. So it doesn't mean it's not better. It's just different. My takeaway from using it was, and I had never used that puck at that rink. I thought it was fine. Like for me, I used it at State Wars, the puck, first time ever. And it was hands down best puck I've ever used. Other than playing on an ice hockey rink with an ice puck. On the still mat floor, it's not even an argument how much better it is. It's here to the other pucks. But on a regular floor, like I threw out rocket pucks also in warm-ups for the game at Fall Invitational, and they're bouncing, rolling all over. So no matter what puck you use on that floor, unfortunately, is going to be a little suspect because the floor is just not great. It's not the most level floor. The boards are they're like soccer boards, indoor soccer. So they come off the boards weird, they die. The IDS, I guess, sometimes sits better on those rinks, it seems like. But IDS was never used by us anyway as a puck. But what I like about it, when you watch the guys out there that kind of, I hate to say are more skilled, but you watch like some of the better games, and as guys go along, they were handling that puck pretty good. And it sits better on passes, and you can shoot it a lot better. You control it a lot better. And I was talking to the goalies a little bit. All the goalies love it because they feel it more. Like it hits them and they can control it. It has a little more meat to it, where the other puck's going to go flying. And, you can't really control the puck. So, again, bear with it because come State Wars, that's the one you're using anyway. And And hopefully, I'd love to see eventually every rink in the country have a still mat floor down, and more and more rinks are turning over to it because it is the best floor. But unfortunately, the roller hockey game has always been an issue with pucks because the floors aren't great. The pucks are lighter. Like last night at Skate Safe. Granted, my hands stink at 48 years old, but I'm trying to warm up. And every time I go to make a move, the puck just goes on edge. Like it just does that so much, where I feel like the still mat puck doesn't do that as much, at least not for me. And talking to the guys that have used it a little bit more, they love it. And I think guys just have to bear with it. And once they get more comfortable with it, they'll find in the end that it's the better puck to use. And then, of course, when it comes to State Wars, then you're already used to that puck, and now you're on the best floor. It's just going to be a winning combination for you, and then you're really going to see the real perks of the puck.
Yeah, even with our team, I don't think one person complained about the puck. I mean, Donny Lemanski never really used the puck before, and he did just fine out there.
Yeah.
So,
a few guys at Skate Save, even last night, I throw a couple out in the bag with the other pucks. I mix them in. The guys like, oh, it's a State Wars puck. They didn't come to Fall Invitational. Like, oh, I like this puck. Like, but again, if you have a little bit of an ice background, a little bit, you play a little bit of ice hockey, I think it's even quicker to pick up the feel of it.
Yeah.
But it is. Guys are just so used to what they're used to that once something's a little different, it's like, oh my God, what is this? Just settle down, guys. It's a puck. It's not like it's square. Like, it's really not that much different. And the crazy part is, you've done this. If you pick them up together,
they're
really not that much heavier in your hand. And you put them side by side, they're not bigger. But on your stick, you feel the way the weight's distributed on it, it feels heavier on your stick. And what I like about that is it allows you to pick your head up more because you feel the puck. Where the other puck is so light for me, it's hard to feel it. And when you shoot, it goes all over the place, and it bounces off passes and stuff like that. So once guys get used to it, I know they're going to love it. It's a little bit of a break-in process, but I'm telling you, in the long run, it's the way to go.
For sure. I think it's awesome. I felt pretty good out there with it. I've used it before, never really on like a non-still mat floor, and I thought it was fine, honestly.
Yeah.
My hands suck these days too, so.
I know Anthony Merrigan, they use a lot of them there. He has a bunch from playing with Team USA, so he used them a lot there and stuff. And, they're a little more used to it, right?
Exactly.
But I noticed even at State Wars, some guys at first like, oh, this is different. And then every game they played a little bit more. And then by the end, they're like, oh, I wish we could have kept going. Like, now I feel perfect with it, So it's just getting that comfortability with it and stuff. And, some guys are starting to order some pucks, get some at home. They can practice with them, whatever, when they go to the rink. So the more and more they use it, they're going to definitely get the feel for it. But
yeah, they're flying off the shelves right now. So, guys, if you're interested in pucks, let us know. Shoot us an email. Go on our website, order them, and yeah, I mean, it's what we're using now. And to get more familiar with it, I definitely grab a couple for sure. We bought a bunch too. So
yeah, and as more and more, like I said, more and more rinks go over to it. Like now we have actually. I think a couple more rinks are going to be changing over to still mat. More and more rinks change. They're going to be using that puck at that rink then on top of it. So more and more guys will be just using it. So get used to it. So, but thanks to all the teams that came out and played at the Fall Invitational. Thanks to our referees again for working it. Thank you to the captains for the teams. I know what a pain in the neck it is organizing a team. You know what it's like, Greg, getting the teams organized and having to deal with guys bailing and finding a new guy and laying out money and who complains and blah, 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 blah. So that's always tough to deal with. So we thank you guys, the captains. I know what it's like. I've been a captain for 100 years. I know what a headache it is.
Scorekeepers as well, Tim. Amanda Davenport, Morgan Power, and Franny Fisher manned up and womened up.
A lot of games.
Worked a lot of games this weekend. So yeah, thanks to them as well. They did a great job.
And James still asked, do the pucks come in different colors? I think they do, but we only have the black ones. Kind of a black puck kind of guy, but the rinks that we're using them on, the blue rinks, they're perfect with the black puck. They may make a red one, I know, but we don't have those right now. The pucks that we're carrying now are all the black ones. Chris Rhino mentioned that the Beast can't wait for Winter Wars. So they have jerseys. They've ordered them. They were delayed getting in, so they actually got their first jerseys in. So we'll mention it there. After the National League Cup come next year, our new year, 2022, the new ages kick in. I know there's some guys turning 35, turning 45, turning 55. It's the only time you can't wait to get older is to play in these divisions. So it's the only division in hockey that the rookies are the best players are 35 plus, 45 plus, 55 plus. But we got February 25th to 27th, Winter Wars West in Corona and Irvine, California. And then March 18th to 20th, always our biggest tournament of the year besides the summer, Winter Wars East, which will be holding the youth divisions are going to be held out at Marple Sportsplex, and our men's division are going to be held at Sportsplex in Feasterville, and hopefully NERC if it's opened up by then, finally. So we'll have them separate again like we did last year, and it was pretty good because we're able to not have the men's play at 3 a.m. and stuff like that, have earlier games and whatnot, keep them separated. I know it stinks for some of the guys that have kids playing, have to go back and forth, but it is what it is. But Marple's a pretty good spot for the kids, Greg.
Yeah, kids love it there. And
yeah.
Parking's great there. The rinks are great there. Just everything's solid there, and can't complain about Marple, man. Good snack bar.
Oh yeah.
Good management, good everything. So can't go wrong there with Marple.
Anthony Flynn's done a good job over there, and worked out really well last time we were there. And again, the kids divisions don't care about the 35 and over division. The 45 and over guys don't care about the 8 and under division. So it's nice we keep them separate. And we've heard already from some teams. Maybe a bunch of youth teams from out of state. I don't want to give away names yet in case they don't come, but we've had a lot of teams interested about coming out this year for that.
Yeah.
And it's great when guys get the itch again, Greg, like the Beast. They came out first tournament in years. They didn't want to win their tournament. They didn't win any games, but they can't wait for Winter Wars. They want to come to State Wars this year, play 35 and over. And it's great when you guys get the bug back. And looking forward to seeing those guys at more and more as those divisions continue to grow.
Yeah, and to James, just a little spray paint. Just spray paint the pucks, buddy. Get like a glow in the dark spray paint.
Hopefully we'll have an announcement ASAP for Midwest Wars coming up. Just finalizing the weekend. Looks like we're going to be holding Midwest Wars in St. Louis this year, with finals being held in Michigan. Probably going to hold Midwest Wars in Missouri. So we're just finalizing the dates with the rinks. There's always so much going on out there with different things. So hopefully have that date announced by next week's podcast. But it looks like we'll be in Missouri for Midwest Wars sometime late April, early May. So we'll get that information out to you guys. But real excited for the National League Cup coming up. And then for, of course, the Winter Wars events that are really our kickoff every year for the new year. And Greg, it's always interesting, these divisions, like you see who ages up now and suddenly what team, it's like a game changer. Like you talked about Anthony Merrigan and Ryan Sobeski becoming 35 for now. All of a sudden there's a PA team that's pretty tough. Think right off the bat for 35 and over, just guys like that being added on. So it changes things.
Yeah, no, everyone gets a little older too, so Dave Jerry's asking, any stud 87s coming up? I'm like, not really. I think Rowan Porter might be the only 87 really that's still really.
How about stud?
We'll see on Sunday morning.
But great podcast today. I want everyone this week to go to your local rink, shake a referee's hand, bring him some flowers or something, thank them for their service, and compliment them after a game, win or lose, and tell them good job, because they need to hear that once in a while from us, that everyone just yelling at them. So let's keep our referees happy.
Too many good shows lately?
What have I been watching now? Well, Succession just came back on HBO, so I'm a big Succession fan. So that show just kicked back off. I've been watching a lot of NHL, obviously, that they've gotten started back up again, the season, of course. And I tell you, Connor McDavid, he's just at another level, Greg, isn't he?
God. He is
it's just not fair. Someone said the other day, I don't know if it was Ryan Whitney on Spit and Chicklets, but someone said something that he's the greatest hockey player of all time. It was like, you can't compare him to anybody. But yeah, it's so true. You watch him play, and Austin Matthews is great. Nathan McKinnon's great. Panarin's great. Barzell. There's so many great players, but McDavid is just at a different level. He's 1,000 miles per hour, nonstop, and he looks effortless when he gets the puck.
Just so good.
Imagine him with a still mat puck on a still mat floor. Whew.
Love to see him on the rollerblades.
All right.
Think he'd be the best in roller hockey?
Well, him and Rowan Porter. Otto said here he's liking Squid Game. A lot of people talking about this Squid Game. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I'm a couple episodes in. It's definitely wacky. It's weird.
I'm not a big fan of all these violent shows they put out. I just hate that they produce all this violence and stuff, and you wonder why kids get violent or people do stupid stuff. I mean, I'm not a guy that's like, don't play heavy metal music or anything, but like, it just gets to be a little much a little. That's why I like Ted Lasso, right? It's like, it's funny, it's kind of wholesome, it's a great show. It's not all about like craziness or whatever. Something you can actually watch with your family or whatever. But yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about Squid Game. I've been watching American Rust. I've been watching that on Showtime. That's been pretty good. Not great, but it's been pretty good. And I've been watching what else was the other show I was watching? I said Succession. And Billions just finished up a couple weeks ago. It was a pretty good show.
Going back to the Squid Games, Amy's a teacher, and these kids are doing some of this shit from the show at recess. Kids getting in trouble for doing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's chaos, and I don't know, man. It's a wacky, weird show. I mean, you should definitely watch it. If you have some time to kill at night, late at night when you get home from your hockey games. But yeah, it's definitely wacky. And finished this season of You. Pretty good. Same old stuff, but it keeps you entertained. Pretty good. And Whitley, what was he watching? He told me a show on HBO.
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. He texted me it before, but he said it was actually really good. So I don't know. So many shows. I'm watching In the Dark. You're watching on Netflix with the blind girl.
Blind girl, whatever.
Yeah,
I heard of it.
There's a new season out, so watching that right now. That's pretty good. Yeah, it just keeps you entertained.
I watched the other night the Bill Burr Paper Tiger comedy special from 2019.
Yeah.
In England.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. And then I'm a big Anthony Jeselnik fan. I don't know if anyone at home watches Anthony Jeselnik, but watched his Netflix special the other day from like a year ago. Just hilarious. So it was good to just watch some good comedy. I like Bill Burr. He doesn't really, even Justin, they don't give a shit. Like, it's such a wimpy world we live in now where everyone gets offended by everything anyone says about anything. So it's nice to see a guy that just doesn't care. Just goes up there and says whatever. Did you see on like the internet the other day? And I know there's so many things in the world right now. Everyone complains about this and that. But guys were giving Tony Romo crap. And I'm a big Tony Romo guy.
About
Giselle. Yeah, so you saw the game. Tom Brady threw the touchdown, the record 600 touchdown, whatever it was, and someone in the stands had the ball because the ball guy, whatever, I guess, threw it into the crowd, or instead of just taking it, like realizing what it's worth. So Tony Romo made a joke, something like, "Oh, Tom may have to offer a date with Giselle to get that ball back or whatever." And people like writing on like how sexist that was and how offensive that was. And I'm like, really? Sure. Come on, like, give me a break. Like, no different than if Giselle had something said, "Oh, I have to give Tom Brady a date with your husband Tom." Like, who cares? Like, it's a compliment. Like, he didn't demean her or anything. Like, I mean, people are so soft and sensitive about everything.
Every little thing.
And that's why it's with comedy. I brought up the comedy guys because, me, I like to joke around and stuff. Like, these comedians, they got to worry about everything they say about who's going to be offended. Where comedy's supposed to be, hey, I'm going to this comedy show to know that they're going to say anything about anybody, anything. They may make a joke about 9/11. They may make a joke about a war, about someone's kid dying. But that's just comedy. You forget about life for 2 hours or whatever it is, and you just laugh. And you can make fun of white people and green people and black people and brown people and Asian people and whatever. And it's just, we're all making fun of jokes of everyone. Yeah, Irish people like to drink. Oh, it's a joke. Ha, ha. I'm not offended by that. Like, I hate that everyone gets so offended by everything because that's what comedy is. You just make jokes. Like, who cares? Like that old Stripes line, like, lighten up, Francis. Like, come on. Like, just if you can't laugh at yourself and have some fun with people, then I'm sorry. Like, I hate that that's where our world is right now, where everyone is so offended and everyone's a keyboard killer on Facebook writing stuff about how they're offended by everything and everyone's so critical. People are so quick to be happy with other people's failures. That's the thing I really hate. Like, even that thing with Alec Baldwin the other day, right? Like, I don't like Alec Baldwin, right? I think Alec Baldwin's a jerk. And he obviously has made comments and stuff like a pompous idiot. But, accident happens or someone got killed or whatever. Instead of just everyone feeling really bad for the person that got killed. And obviously it wasn't done on purpose. People love to jump on and just rip them. It's like, it sucks that our society is that way, that people love to just jump on someone when they're down, And I hate that people like that. Like, how about just try to lift somebody up in life instead of trying to knock them down all the time. Like people love seeing people being hurt,
So true.
And I hate that, and on Facebook, I've said this 100 times on this podcast. I don't care if you like Donald Trump, if you like Biden, if you like the vaccine, you don't like the vaccine, whatever. No one cares that you got to post on Facebook every day 5 times about it. I don't care. Let's get back to Facebook where you post a picture of your kid that no one cares about, or a joke or a video or something. Like, I hate that everyone's got to post everything they believe in life about everything on both sides of everything. Because end of the day, I hate to break the news to people, but someone like me, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think, who you like in politics or medicine or whatever. I have my own opinions. And I think it's pathetic if you have that much time in your hands to post that 5 times a day. I really do.
That's when the unfollow button comes out, Tim.
Yeah. Go take a referee course and start volunteering to referee at games, if you're so perfect. Like, we need referees.
You know what? Going back to the comedian thing, I think being a comedian is probably harder than being a referee.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, you can't.
Well, that last Dave Chappelle special, which I didn't think it was that great, but whatever. But he basically spent half of it, I felt like, explaining jokes he made from other ones to other people. Like, I'm just like, really? That's what you got to waste your time on? Like, making sure certain groups are okay with what you said? Like, listen, if I don't like Greg Thompson and Tim McManus, and I don't like what they say on the podcast, I just don't watch the podcast, right? Easy.
Simple.
If I don't like Squid Game and all the violence and stuff, I just don't watch it, and my kids just don't watch it. And that's it. It's easy. It's done. If I don't like the lyrics in that song, I don't buy their music. I don't listen to it. And that's it. On Facebook, if I don't like the stuff you post, I just unfollow you. I don't have to read it anymore. I don't need to comment on it. I just don't follow you. If I think you're a schmuck, I just don't follow you anymore.
You might even tell them too.
Yeah. If I don't like the way you play hockey, whatever, I just don't play on your team. Like, right? If I don't like the way the tournament runs it, I just don't go back to that tournament. I don't criticize them on, like, we put a thing up for State Wars this summer. We're going to be in Michigan. And some guy wrote, oh, I don't like Michigan or whatever. So whatever. And then 2 days later, I was like, oh, I don't like Michigan or whatever. So finally I responded. I'm like, okay, if you don't like Michigan, we get it. Don't come to State Wars then. You'll be missed. Like, to actually spend the 5 minutes to write that, I think is so pathetic. Yeah. I've never in my life commented on any like forum or anything ever on the internet my entire life of any subject, because I wouldn't waste my time with it. Like, and if you read comments, these trolls, like in real life stuff, like let's just say, God forbid, a police officer got killed or a little girl got killed or someone died of cancer or something bad. And you read all these comments, like some of the nasty comments that people write about people are so pathetic.
Yeah.
That the fact that they even think that way and write that is just so sad, that you just hope that it's just like trolls just trying to start trouble and stuff, but they do it and they don't even mean it. Because if they actually think that way, it's really sad and scary that they would have that kind of thought. But I just think people they value themselves too much. Like, before the internet and social media, they wouldn't be at a bar talking about all these things and standing in front of people. They'd be too afraid to say anything. But now they get on their computer and they sound like they're so smart. I have friends, I've made this joke before, that barely graduated high school that sound like Harvard grads on Facebook when they type stuff. I don't know what vocabulary, who they're stealing it from or whatever, but they want to sound so smart. And I just find it sad. Spend more time with your kids, go on vacation, volunteer somewhere, donate some time, do something with your life. But instead of sitting on Facebook, people that go to the concert and they're getting to see Paul McCartney before he dies, and they're spending the whole concert filming it, and they can't even they're not even enjoying the concert because they're so busy filming the concert the whole night. Like, stuff like that, oh my God, it drives me nuts.
Jimmy Q style. Jimmy Q loves the Instagram, boy.
He's got a post every time he's skating up, driving up the skate safe.
Oh yeah. Every
who cares? Jimmy, you're playing a skate safe on Wednesday night. No one cares. Like,
Oh, the best when he has back-to-back games at sport time. He's going from rink to rink and he pulls in sport time.
We got to mention quick, Greg. Talk about back-to-back. Talk about AJ Frye.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. We're lucky we didn't get delayed games. I mean, he was there on time, but but it was getting a little nerve wracking. Championship game, he might have been like a minute or two, like a minute.
Explain who he is for everyone at home.
So AJ's from Long Island. You know, he used to be involved with the college league and NCRHA and Hofstra, stuff like that. And then AJ, you know, he's a great goalie. Started playing with you in 45, so we needed a goalie for 35s. So he said, yeah.
He also plays for Empire's his main team. Empire.
Yes, so he plays for the Empire in men's. So we needed a goalie, and you know, he played great. Awesome to have him. And in between games, there was a couple back-to-backs, like Empire and then our Sniper 35. So I guess he had full gear for both teams. Pads, helmet, pants, glove, blocker. So after the game, he jet off the rink, change in 3 minutes his whole outfit just to match for the Sniper games and vice versa. First game of
did he have yellow and black stuff originally, or did he just get it made for recent?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. So it was just pretty funny, you know. I'm like,
I won't even skate off to change my pants in a game.
Or my Under Armour.
Yeah, this guy is changing his pads, his block, everything.
Just to match.
Yeah.
And we had back-to-back games twice. And the first time I had no idea what he was doing. And then someone told me after the game what he did. I'm like, no. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like I'm just saying, getting water or something.
Yeah.
You know, especially as a goalie. He changed full gear.
I thought I was doing him a favor in the schedule, keeping him back to back. Now I realize I got to give him he changed his outfit more than Jennifer Lopez during a concert. Like, you know, I got to add that changing time in there now. It's like a Victoria's Secret show.
I'll be honest, he was on time though. So just incredible.
Played well too.
He did. Yeah.
Hey, I guess at the end of the day, whatever, you know, goalies are whack jobs. So whatever works, it only makes him save the puck. AJ, you do AJ. I don't care if you got to change your underwear every game. Like, if it's going to make you save the puck, we'll schedule you accordingly. We just thought it was amazing that, you know how heavy that stuff is and how much room it takes up in your car. I don't know if he's got a Suburban just so he can fit his equipment, because he's got a pretty small car. I saw him pull up the one day with his girlfriend. Like, I think his poor girlfriend had to sit in the trunk so he could fit all his pads in the passenger seat. Like, you know, think about how much stuff he's carrying. 2 big goalie bags of stuff.
Crazy.
And it's expensive. You know, goalie gear is not cheap.
Yeah. Nano from Empire, he was telling me that both his pads were different companies, different brands. Yeah. So
AJ's were?
Yeah. And he said, for goalie, that's a little different because, you know, pads fit differently, feel differently. You slide a little different for each pad. So he's like, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. You know, crazy.
I remember a couple times we'd be at a tournament where we'd have a player who play out and one in goalie. Yeah. And it was such a pain in the neck for them to bring both equipment. Like, you got to help a guy carry this bag. Hey, can you grab my sticks, whatever. Now this guy's logging around 2 sets of goalie pads and stuff. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
But again, you know, goalies are a different breed, you know, but whatever works. Scotty Ives said he missed us this weekend. Missed you too, Scotty.
Yeah, been a while without Scotty. You know,
didn't see him at State Wars. You know, he's becoming like a little bit of an ice snob. I think his daughter's doing a lot of ice hockey now. He's busier now. You know, he's forgetting about the boys. So hopefully we'll see him at Winter Wars. You know, need a little Ives love. You know, not the same without Scotty there. That's another good 35 and over who usually brings a good group with their guys, right?
Gladiators or Devils, whatever they're called. Yeah.
Missing our boy Shane Fox this weekend too. I know he's in love now, so we haven't seen him in a little bit. So a little shout out to Foxy.
New job, new car, new girl. Guy's just living the life right now.
Oh, he's living it, man.
I think he just stop by for an hour or two, see the boys in his area. Nothing.
Foxy's game is just going to go if he doesn't start waking up now. You know, that's what happens. You get a job, you get a girl, stop playing as much as you used to, right, GT? You know?
That's what happens.
You know, you start getting older, and before you know it.
And then you have a kid, and it's even worse.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother level. Gladiators now, Scott Ives says. So, yeah, Gladiators, baby. Yeah. Looking forward, like I said, Winter Wars at Marple with our kids' teams. So looking forward to seeing, I expect to see 3 Gladiator teams in every youth division, Scotty. So just start working on that now. But yeah, no, it was a great weekend. Love seeing the guys. There's so many guys we go back to with so many years there. So it's always such a fun weekend. It stunk for me. It was such a quick weekend. I came in, Saturday, rushed in there, spent all day Saturday night. We had a good time. We love parks, went over to the casino, Chicky and Pete's. First time we sat at the bar, Chicky and Pete's, and had dinner, Greg, right? I mean, usually we sit at a table. I kind of like that atmosphere we had at the bar that night.
Yeah, it was great. I had the taps right in front of me. I could have poured my own.
Right.
It was awesome. You got all the sports games on and stuff. So, yeah, we got there pretty late because we were a little behind because of all the nonsense at the end of the game. The gate breaking and, the nonsense on the rinks. We had to switch rinks, but everything worked out. Got to the casino a little too late, later than we wanted.
Yeah, I've lost about an hour. I just don't like how they don't really announce last call. I feel like they don't do it because they don't want to get bum rushed or whatever. But you think that'd be a good way to get a lot of business at the end of the night? They kind of like whisper it, and it's like a secret. You got to know when last call is coming.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, can I? Oh no, it was the last call. What?
Doesn't last call mean you call it? Like you say last call, like that's usually what it means, right? But yeah, they didn't let us know. And luckily we had that girl at the bar was pretty cool, the bartender, and she hooked us up anyway. Had to show a little Long Island charm, Greg. But we got another round or two out of her. But yeah, they kind of don't let you know when last round's coming, or last call. And then it's different outside by the main bar. We thought it was last call everywhere, right? So we came out thinking it's done, went to play a little roulette. Lost a couple bucks real quick playing roulette, and then we thought we were done for the night. And then we realized at the center bar they were still going. So then we got to meet up with some of the guys over there. So it was definitely a fun night. And I had to be up at 6 a.m. to drive home for a lacrosse tournament for my daughter. So you get back to the hotel at 3 a.m. 6 o'clock came pretty quick.
Well, yeah, you and Charlie just talk all night. So, but let's go back to Q. Let's rip on him again.
Oh, yeah.
So Q's been at the casino for hours before us, and I guess he already ate at Chickies and Pete's.
Said it stunk this time.
Yeah, so we walk in. We're gonna go Chickies. He's like, I just ate there. It stinks.
No, but I think, hold on, rewind a second. I think, unless I got the story wrong, I think he had lunch there.
Oh.
And then he had dinner somewhere else. They went to Chili's for dinner.
Chili's, oh.
Yeah, because he didn't want to have Chickies because they had it for lunch.
Okay.
So now he's already eaten twice now.
Yeah, and he said it
stunk. Met up with us.
He said it stunk.
Makes the story worse now.
Yeah, it does. So we sit down, probably get a chair at the bar, whatever. Tables were closed. Sit down, bartender. Hey, what do you guys want? So everyone orders their drink and food, and Q goes, I'll get a cheesesteak with some fries. I look at him, I go, Q, didn't you just say it stunk here before, and now you're eating again? And he had dinner. I had no idea he had dinner. So he had two dinners and a meal that stunk. Oh God, so funny.
He saw the State Wars card go down. He's like, oh, I'm hungry again. Gotta feed the machine,
It's so funny ripping on Q. It's just too easy because he's just too nice. He doesn't.
He's one of the greatest guys in the world.
Yeah, it just makes it easy.
He could beat up all of us at once, but he's just such a nice guy, such a gentle giant there, Yeah. So it makes it easy to bust his chops. But hey, give Q some credit here. He had the GWG in the game against the health and fitness team. Donny Lemanski put on his tape in front, popped it home, and he was posted about that 3 minutes later.
Oh yeah. We were FaceTiming with this girl at the restaurant. And, I made sure to tell her Jimmy scored the game winner.
Now she knew already. He's the only guy that he can somehow make an Instagram post mid-shift in a game. I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he's got an Apple Watch that's on auto or something while he's playing, but that guy's in real time when he's posted on Instagram.
He sure is.
He's posted more times on Instagram in a day than I think I have in my entire life combined. He's just Jimmy Post, Unlike Timmy Post, I was a different kind of post in the tournament all weekend. I think I wrong 6 posts in the one game. Unfortunately, none of them went post in, so everything was post out that weekend. I'm going to blame the rink. I think the posts were thicker at that rink, at least on the one that we were shooting on. That's my complaint. Thicker posts.
It's like the international net, thicker.
Yeah, but I think just the nets were thicker on the one side. I saw them switch nets at half. So I think we were always shooting on the thicker one. I think they were cheating. I think they wanted the PA teams to win at the rink. No, great job, GT, this weekend. I know you got to man the fort a lot more this weekend. Usually we got Dex there, we got Foxy. You were kind of solo a little bit there. You did a great job when when I wasn't there on Sunday.
Yeah.
And kind of like how you set up that big banner along the wall for the championship photos and that rink there.
Yeah.
And, shout out to Anthony Merrigan and his group. Like, they're doing a good job on that rink there. Like I said earlier, that was always kind of like the
island
rink that no one went there at all. You had to go through that secret little tunnel to get there. And then it was always kind of dark and weird or whatever. But now that's like the main rink. Like, you want to go in there. So we spent all our time in that rink, and I only went over to the other rink a couple times. So I was mainly in that one. So it was definitely a little weirder vibe there. Thank you to Tony and all the guys at Sportsplex for having us again, as always, at the rink. I know Tony is not watching this podcast. I don't know if he even has the internet, but thank you to him for a great weekend. We love being there, and thank everybody at home for tuning in today. Hope you guys enjoyed State Wars Hockey Podcast number 56, Greg. I can't believe we've been 56 episodes in without being canceled.
Still on, even for your your language. Still going
strong. Glass half full.
Still going since Chad Siebel.
What's that? Oh, that still may have gone down as the funniest episode we've ever had, right?
I would say so. Yeah, it's up there. Actually, you know what? It's definitely number one. Definitely number one is for the funniest. That was a good one.
Might have to get him back on here soon just to see how he's doing. And he actually called me a couple weeks ago. I owe him a phone call back. He was in New York, I think, for a day. And Chad, he'll call you 10 minutes before he wants to meet you. But I haven't had a chance to give him a call back. But definitely got to give him a call back. But definitely a great guy.
Loves his wings.
Oh yeah. It's the same spot. Every year we go to Croxley's at the same little wing spot.
Yeah, I joined you guys one time.
All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. State Wars Hockey Podcast number 56 from Long Island, New York. Glass Half Full Productions. We're out.
Real ones, fine.